My bad, you guys. I don't know if you guys could hear me. I got to start over. I didn't have the setup all the way right. Forgot to add myself. But last night on Truth Frequency Radio, again, we do the show every Wednesday night, tfrlive.com. We stream it on YouTube. And I was trying to get the community to come together about the thought of, is it just a coincidence that the 50th state, Hawaii, had this terrible fire the week of hip hop music's 50th birthday? And again, something like that could be a total coincidence. But what we know is 50 is a very special number to America. If you don't know what gematria is, it's the simple practice of coding numbers into words. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. If you take the letters of America, A would be the first letter, M would be the 13th, E would be the 5th, R the 18th, so on. America equals 50. 50 states and territories. Hawaii, the 50th and final state. The 50th birthday of hip hop. All these things in the same week. So, last night, shout out to Eric. Eric called in. He drove all the way out from Arizona to California and pounded pavement with us back in April when we were educating about this knowledge and what's going on in the world. The ritual murder. Who's really running our government? Again, getting out on the streets, talking about big topics. Who's running our sports teams? Eric was out there, but Eric called in last night and he said, Zach, think about it. Hawaii's the 808 area code. We had that piece, the 808 area code. But he said the drum machine that made hip-hop music was the 808, the Roland 808. So early hip-hop, that machine revolutionized it because everybody could create beats for an affordable price and rap to them. So hip-hop music's born. People are rapping to drum beats, largely thanks to the Roland 808. Hawaii, the 808 area code. 88, right? The date of the fire in Maui. The space is on the chessboard. But then it went further because then somebody heard that call and they said they did some research. They did some research and then they said, Zach, the Roland was made in Japan. And like we've been pointing out, Hawaii was secured largely by Teddy Roosevelt, who wanted it for military strategy against Japan and Asia and China. Again, big military strategy. Teddy Roosevelt's undertaking only for his relative to be president, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when Pearl Harbor happened in Hawaii. The place acquired for military purposes, and it wasn't even a state yet in 1941. But again, so now you have this incredible 808 thing, right? So then we got to thinking more, and we said, what else? Where else does this fit? And somebody pointed out, well, Kanye West recorded his 808 and Heartbreaks album in Hawaii. And if you look it up, he recorded it in Hawaii and California, in the LA area. And so we looked at that and we said, I took a look myself and I said, oh, look when that album came out. It came out in November of 2008, the same month that Obama was elected the first black president, right? And now parts of Maui been burnt black. These are all sick jokes from the Kabbalahs we're getting to. But remember, Obama's from Hawaii, and Obama's connected to Chicago, just like Kanye West is connected to Chicago. Kanye West is also born in Atlanta, which is hot in the news right now. Hot Atlanta. Born in Atlanta, but claims Chicago, like Obama, born in Hawaii. And so they're both having these big moments, 808s and heartbreak. If you surveyed people's hearts grew so big for Obama, they thought the country was going to change, our problems were going to be solved, the wars would be over, no more racial injustice, everything's going to get fixed. And then things just seemingly got even worse under him. And it was very frustrating because it seemed like he wasn't that passionate about the things that it seemed like he was passionate about before. And that's what politicians do time and time again. They trick people in and then they break their hearts. But 808s and heartbreak. And of course, Kanye, in his rap lyrics, he talks about his Fed connections and how he's hanging out with George Tenet, the head of the CIA, and, so all these clues here, right? And then you got Jay-Z, Rockefeller Records. You guys, Jay-Z got famous in 1989 off the Jazz O song where Jay-Z has some lines in it, but they made a music video for that in 89. There weren't a lot of hip-hop music videos back at that day and age, but a young Jay-Z's in there with a couple lines, and almost like a Lil Wayne, who also has the last name Carter, as we'll get to. You know, when he started out, before he was super famous, he got to be in some videos with some more famous people with a couple little lines. But it's going to blow your mind what happens in Jay-Z, the video that put him on the map in 1989. It's going to blow you away in what happens to Jay-Z at the 50th second of the music video. It's going to blow your mind in light of this 50th anniversary. But also Jay-Z, he has that last name Carter, right? Carter. He signed Lil Wayne, who's another Carter, right after David Rockefeller died. Remember, David Rockefeller died by the numbers at age 101, and the Rockefellers blew up in Cleveland, and Cleveland not too far from New York City. For people who don't realize that, like being a West Coast guy, I didn't realize how close Cleveland was to New York City until I went back east. And I was like, oh, I see why this city's so... Anyways, it's beside the point. But the 97 thing, that right after David Rockefeller died, the big three on the Cleveland Cavaliers, the night of his death, they scored 101, setting an NBA record, 101 points by three players on the night of David Rockefeller's death, 101. That was Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Love. Scored 101 points when David Rockefeller died at 101 for Cleveland at the time, when the Rockefeller dynasty's from there. And then you had Jay-Z, a Rockefeller, getting the other Carter. And again, the Rockefellers go back to the federal government. They've been in the Oval Office. They got streets everywhere in America named after them. They're bigger than government, the Rockefellers. And yeah, we're going to bring this all together, and also going back to the boxer, Reuben Carter, who was known as the Hurricane. Because then you got Jay-Z and Kanye, and Kanye getting famous. Kanye was famous to certain people, but Kanye got famous to like everybody after Hurricane Katrina, because that was the focus of the news, how Kanye West was standing next to Mike Myers, and they're supposed to be raising money for the Katrina victims. And instead of doing that, Kanye said, George W. Bush doesn't care about black people. So you have Kanye connected to a natural disaster, right? Kanye connected to a natural disaster, connected to Jay-Z, who got famous with Hawaiian Sophie, the connections of 808 and Heartbreak, Hawaii's area code, the date. If all of this seems like a coincidence, now we're going to go through it with the next layer. Because see, I used to look at stuff like this after 9/11. I used to just start to notice how there were all these crazy coincidences with what was going on in the world, from politics to news to sports. I could tell something was going on with this rigged game that we live in. And I could see there was something in numbers, but it took me over a decade of looking at this to figure out what I figured out. And now when you use this language in comparison with everything I'm talking about, it just becomes undeniable. It becomes undeniable. And, you know, watch what we're going to bring together with Fred Hampton's death. Because remember, Jay-Z was born. Jay-Z was born the day that Fred Hampton was assassinated by the federal government. And that's an open story now. The FBI kind of says it was a mistake or a regret of the past. It's like an open story for the public about an injustice of assassinating a black man with 1,000 bullets while he was in his bed in Chicago. If you didn't know that, Jay-Z was born the day that Fred Hampton was assassinated by the FBI in Chicago, which also goes back with the Kanye and Obama thing. And from being in Chicago, I remember reading some history somewhere about, in remembrance of essentially a genocide that happened to the native people there. And I thought, well, these signs should probably be up in every city in America, because I think this happened everywhere. So as we'll get to, I had to go back and look. I had to go back and look at when the movement started to essentially, you know, the Europeans to genocide the natives that lived in the Chicago area. And if you go back and look, the historical story is that on August 15th, the local natives killed a bunch of innocent people, which created the movement for the people to rally together and kill the natives. And that just happened to happen on the Jesuit order's birthday, right? This movement to kill the natives started essentially on the Jesuit order's birthday in history in the Chicago area. And now here we are in Maui. The Jesuit order's birthday is August 15th again. 1 week after Maui burned, the governor spoke on it and compared it to 9/11 and a war zone and everything else we talked about in yesterday's streams, going over that. But again, what I'm trying to paint here before we really bring it together and prove that this stuff is beyond coincidence is these are the things that control our mind. Politics, entertainment, news. How the things that control our mind are part of a web that is part of a rigged system that is here to control us and do it by controlling our minds. And again, for everyone who thinks it's a coincidence, you just wait until what I show you. I'm going to make, you can look it up yourself. You can look it up yourself right now if you're that kind of person. Actually, you know what? Actually, instead of making the person wait, how I'm going to bring all this together through the 50th anniversary, we haven't even gotten to the hardcore proof, but you know what? I changed my mind. I'm actually going to show this clip of what happens to Jay-Z at the 50th second of the Hawaiian Sophie music video that kind of put him on the hip-hop map, even though he wasn't really a name known to anybody. He's just appearing in the music video with a few lines. But it's just going to blow your mind. It's just so sick. Because again, how all this is happening for the 50th anniversary. Jay-Z is considered the king of hip-hop right now. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Right here. So okay, I'm going to rewind. I don't want to get a copyright because they haven't not been letting me show stuff. We showed 10 seconds the other day of Prince in the bathtub in light of what happened with Whitney. And they took down the whole 3-hour live stream for literally showing 10 seconds of a music video. But anyway, I used to be able to get away with that. These days, they're just looking for a reason. But anyway, here we are at 35 seconds, 36 seconds. You can see that Jay-Z is coming down. These are Jay-Z's legs in the background. He's coming down with a rope near his neck area. And 37 seconds, he's almost down. By the time we're at 38 seconds, he's on the ground, right? And we know what 38 is. Over and over in the world of hip-hop, it's death. Biggie died on a 38 date. Tupac on a 38 date. So many rituals. We just talked about how the rapper who was, or the actor who was portrayed or asked to portray Mac Miller, how he just died 38 days from the anniversary of Mac Miller. And again, there's a gazillion examples in between. But yeah, at 38 seconds, Jay-Z is on the ground. A woman's putting the luau around his neck, and he's got it's blurry because it's 89, but if you watch this, you'll see how he's coming down on these ropes that are right around his neck area. So anyway, this is going on in the background. By 39 seconds, he's got the luau. 39, we call that the New York number. Biggie died on 3/9 and 97, which we'll get to. We'll get to how Fred Hampton died in a 97 ritual in relation to Jay-Z. But Fred Hampton died on his 97th day of his age, as we'll get to. And it's a big number with Jay-Z, who again, benefited so much from 97, the death of Biggie, and being on Diddy's album also at the end of 97. But anyway, so you got this going on in the background where you first see him, and then, the video goes on, and Jay-Z's not in it for a second. And then they bring Jay-Z back. Here's the 48-second mark. We don't see Jay-Z yet. At 49 seconds, in this 49th second, Jay-Z's back on the screen. I'm going to try to get away with playing about 4 seconds of this. Listen very carefully to exactly what's said on the screen and watch what happens to Jay-Z with the ropes around him near his neck area as he gets yanked up. Just watch this. His partner, Jay-Z. It's just real quick right there as Jay-Z's just getting yanked up. Here, let's rewind it a little bit further back and just watch. Right at 50 seconds, he's getting yanked up. Then back to 51 seconds. We're in Hawaii, where Hawaii equals 51. And yesterday I was talking about how The Rock is synced up with this. I'm going to bring The Rock into this too. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. It's crazy how they've done this. But this is what for people who are new here, we've been documenting this for a decade. We've been doing this for a decade, showing how this has been going on. Undeniably. It's all number rituals. There's so many things in this world, movies, films, shows that are edited so something's happening right at the right time in that show. I mean, it's mind-blowing, but it's so obvious. It's just like Hawaii, the 50th state, getting wrecked with fire. Fire terminology in hip hop. If your rhymes are nice, if your delivery is nice, that's fire. But yeah, look at this, you guys. When Fred Hampton died, he was born August 30th. He was born in August. The stuff going down in August. Died the day Jay-Z was born, on his 97th day of his age. Just knows how Carter's 97, like Hurricane, like Rockefeller Records. Again, Jay-Z, Kanye in New Orleans as well. Lil Wayne, the Carter, comes over to Jay-Z right after the Rockefeller death. But Rockefeller Records 97, something that blew up after Biggie in 97. And by the way, Biggie equals Notorious equals 97 and Biggie equals 39, like how he died on 3/9, like New York's 39. And you know what? If I recall, we'll go back and double check. It's somewhere in there. But it might be that the Biggie album with Jay-Z on it, with the song Young G's, where Jay-Z says people aren't ready for this new world order. And for most people, that's the first time they ever heard Jay-Z, because that Puff Daddy album with Mace sold a gazillion copies, and Jay-Z was on it. And Jay-Z wasn't a known name in hip-hop. He wasn't Biggie, he wasn't Tupac, he wasn't Nas. Some people might have known about him, but almost no one. Jay-Z got real popular around the time of 9/11, end of the 90s, early 2000s, and Jay-Z had that album come out. Jay-Z had the Blueprint come out on the day of September 11th, 2001, and Rockefeller Records, and who essentially built the World Trade Centers, who got that project done? It was the Rockefeller family. And again, now you got the governor on the Jesuit order's birthday explaining that Maui looks like the 9/11 site. And we were just in New York last year for the 9/11 anniversary, explaining how the Jesuits are doing stuff just like this. But hold on, let's take it from the top, okay? Let's take it from the top. I hope it's clear enough this far. We're going to take it from the top. And again, what I learned in August of 2013 is about this thing called Gematria from Manly P. Hall and the secret teachings of all ages. And he didn't explain a lot, but I was looking for meaning to numbers and rituals. So I thought, numbers and words, could that be it? Let me look. And in no time, my jaw was on the floor. And sadly, all the people in my life just thought everything was a coincidence, but then I remembered that my whole life they thought everything that ever happened was a coincidence. So I just said, well, their opinion's not that important. Let me continue to research, and let's see if this is really a coincidence. And here we are a decade later. So a lot to explain. Let me see if I can pick out the right place to explain. Kanye, August 8th. Again, he's got the 808s and heartbreaks, right? Again, one more time in case you got here late. Hawaii's the 808 area code. The drum machine that made hip-hop music when it began was the Roland 808. In the week of hip-hop's 50th birthday, Hawaii, the 50th state, gets wrecked right after Obama's birthday, who's from Hawaii, who's connected to Kanye, who's also running for office. And again, Kanye has the one famous hip-hop album that was recorded in Hawaii, 808 and Heartbreaks, who's connected with Jay-Z, who got sort of famous, put on the map. It's where a lot of people trace his history back to. In the Hawaiian Sophie video where he gets hung at the 50th second. And we know how these guys are signing their souls away at a young age for this fortune and fame that comes with an expiration and a price. Okay. So this happened on Kanye's 62nd day of his age, right? He has the Chicago connection, and Obama just turned 62 years old on August 4th this month. Obama's 62. If you've read my first book, Letters and Numbers, I talk about where 62 fits in with the Torah and, the history of God and fires and floods and natural disasters. This has a biblical connection, this number 62. And consider Kanye West got famous with Jesus Walks. He's always, he used to have more of a spiritual message, I suppose. Then he became, the N in Paris, the home of the Jesuits. But with Jay-Z, as they watched the throne. But anyway, 62nd day of his age, connects with Jay-Z and Gematria, connects with words like sacrifice as well. Torah's full of sacrifice, connects with Obama being 62. For the record, if you run Jay-Z backwards, it's 46, like Kanye's age, which also goes with sacrifice, like Genesis 46. And we already talked about where 46 fits in with what happened in Hawaii. You know, the Pepsi connection, the Old Testament connection, the Sodom and Gomorrah thing. But again, 808s and Heartbreak, released November 2008. That's when Obama was elected president. He was elected number 44, right? 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. Maui has that gematria 44, like military, like HARP. On the HARP anniversary of the patent, August 11th, the media was focused on just how bad Lahaina got it, and Lahaina equals 44, like military, like HARP, like execution, like kill. But remember, it happened on August 8th, but the U.S. media didn't really focus on the story until August 9th, the anniversary of the Michael Brown killing, another Jesuit ritual, another Jesuit disaster ritual, which led to fire and things burning. And remember, the Jesuits, Ignatius the Loyola said, "Go forth and set the world on fire," a phrase that equals 144 like Jesuit order, like August 9th leaves 144 days left in the year. But Hawaiian Sophie in 89, a bit like 8-9. Again, biblical, 89 chapters. And the gospel, religion's 89, like King James, who has the Bible named after him. But Jay-Z has that HBO documentary series, Rest in Power, that's really about Black Lives Matter and starting with what happened to Michael Brown, you know, which is part of a long line of Jesuit rituals to keep people fighting over the same stuff and the same history and keep them divided and in fear and unnecessary tensions, because we're allowing this mass mind control to be a part of us. And, you know, Jay-Z does become part of that mass mind control. He's rapping about things that they want him rapping about, things that are scary, that remind there is a criminal element. They want people to be afraid of black men and afraid of crime and paying their taxes because they need more and more security and more rights. And yeah, maybe we need to lock up more and more people in prison. Again, all of this plays a part psychologically on different demographics of the population. People love Jay-Z. People hate Jay-Z. People love hip-hop music. People hate hip-hop music. You see how polarizing it is. I mean, almost anytime I look at the chat, you just see all the people that are posting like, "I hate rap music." It's like, I don't know why that's your comment right now, unless you're a troll or just somebody who doesn't belong here, because the point isn't about if we like the music. The point's about the rituals that are being done. And, you know, for the record, from the last birthday of Jay-Z, the anniversary of Fred Hampton's death, to August 8th was 247 days, while the country's 247 years old, and so is the Illuminati. Founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, May 1st, 1776. But yeah, look into this Fort Dearborn massacre blamed on natives that created the sentiment to wipe out the natives in the Chicago area. Again, just the Chicago thing coming in with Hawaii. The indigenous people of Hawaii being replaced. And now this, you know? Yeah, see, again, there's Jay-Z in the background with the noose-looking thing right up near his neck, coming down on the ropes, 38 seconds, going up on the ropes at 50. And then what blew my mind is I was like, I got to find out when this came out. When did this song come out? Oh, the song came out on May 2nd, 5/2. Now, were we not talking about how connected The Rock is to this through Moana? Because we were showing how perfect that is. It's an even bigger ritual. Well, I guess you could say it's arguably as big of a ritual, but it shows how these stars on the world stage are chosen for the planned rituals that they will become part of, because we're living out a planned agenda. Again, this Illuminati Jesuit network, they've obviously taken their calendar that they created along with their language, and they've planned out a series of events. Like how we talked about the pattern of 19 years with the 19-year cycle of the moon and the chaos code. And that's why COVID-19 came 19 years after the 9/11-19 hijackers, which came 19 years after the war on drugs, which came 19 years after the war on courage through JFK's head, which came 19 years after the most troops we deployed to World War II, and so on. But there's patterns like this if you pay attention. And of course, 50 is a big magical number. And again, The Rock, we're talking about the significance of his birthday being 5/2, and that he's turning 52 in 2024, less than a year. If you're new here, the first act of weather warfare was admitted to on August 15th, 1952. Again, in this year on August 15th, on the Jesuit orders, or the anniversary, well, it's the Jesuit order's birthday and the anniversary of that date. By the way, it was the 71st anniversary of that date, and Hawaii got wrecked on the 353rd day of its age, the 71st prime. These numbers, there's a lot to all of them. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but I just want you to understand that perfect pattern and how your governor, who was on his 247th day of being in office when Maui got wrecked, in the 247th year of the U.S., the 13 stripes as Maui gets wrecked 13 days before the birthday of Hawaii as a state on August 21st. And now they're saying, do you guys see the joke? Do you guys see the joke? They're saying Hurricane Hillary will weaken, but it's expected to bring a lot of flooding to California around August 21st. So now we're getting flooding expected around August 21st in Southern California from Hurricane Hillary that will make landfall in Mexico on Bill Clinton's birthday. And Bill Clinton had the NAFTA trade deal that caused all kinds of economic problems for Mexico and caused a lot of people to have to migrate north. Again, you guys, the system we're living in with these chosen ones and their rituals, it's just gross. Look it up, you guys. Hurricane Hillary, it was strengthened to a hurricane today. In 2 days is Bill Clinton's birthday. And then it's expected to flood California on Hawaii's birthday. They're saying it's not all bad, though, because it'll bring a lot of water to the region and they need it. And it goes back to JFK's speech, right? Back on September 25th, 1961, about the future of weather control and how it can be used to really make sure there's no more droughts and never a dust bowl again. Again, it could be a beautiful thing. All this technology that's being used to do what they're doing for their own greedy benefit and their own plan. And, again, whatever brought the blowtorch winds, as they call them on CNN, as they put down conspiracy theories. It was just blowtorch winds. These wacko conspiracy theorists online have all these crazy ideas. It's like, who are these people delivering the news? Like, are you like literally like a manifestation of Satan, whatever this evil spirit is in this world? Oh my God, blowtorch winds? I mean, doesn't it just sound like an asshole thing to say? But yeah, we just went over this in a huge way. The Rock's 52nd birthday on 5/2 and where 52 fits in here. If you're new here, if you're new here, Gematria. It's based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with numerology. And I just want you to see how Earth is like Enlil, is like devil, is like flood. I just want you to see that. Flood, devil, Enlil, Earth. They're the exact same 52, like the 52 weeks in the year. And by the way, we're on a calendar named after Pope, and Pope has a lot of overlap too. But notice how Pope is also 52, the 52-week calendar named after the Pope. We're talking about biblical things. With the alphabetic order and numerology, they're all 25. With the reverse alphabetic order, they're all 83 except for Pope. And again, flood, devil, Enlil, earth. Enlil is the Babylonian god that has a lot of parallels with the devil and is connected to things like flooding and earthquakes, like Maui. And The Rock played Maui in Moana, which is perfectly synced. That film and the new film are perfectly synced with what has happened in Maui, as we talked about in a big way yesterday. In Genesis 8:3, that's where the biblical flood ends. And remember, Maui flooded on the 8th day of the 3rd month, March. Here, let me put fire on here so you can see how fire is a little bit similar but also different. Fire has the 25, like flood, devil, Enlil, earth, Pope, all those 25s. Fire. Fire also has the 29. Maui flooded on March 8th, 2021 and burnt up exactly 29 months later. And when it flooded on March 8th, it was a date with 52 numerology. And by the way, for this 52 list, the expected flooding of California from Hurricane Hillary, it won't be a hurricane, then they said, but it'll bring a lot of flooding, just like what happened with Harvey. When Harvey was no longer a hurricane, it flooded the hell out of Texas. It just sat there and dumped rain. And the news report, if you turn on the news, you'll hear the same thing I said. I've heard multiple reports the same thing. Some places in California will get more rain in a day than they've gotten in years. And some places haven't gotten a lot of rain at all in years, so it might sound more drastic than it is. But that's still going to be a lot of rain. And again, and what did I just say? We got to watch what they do when Bill Clinton's birthday comes up, because the three amigos, all born in 46, who've all been president, that is George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, this year they all turn a very significant age, 77. Washington, D.C. is the city on the 77th meridian. United States has that Gematria 77, like secret society. Special number, Freemasonry, a popular secret society. Their symbol's the G, the seventh letter. 9/11 in Flight 77 in the 77-foot tall Pentagon, 77 minutes after taking off, when Pentagon construction began in history on September 11th, right before Pearl Harbor in 1941. Only for the new Pearl Harbor to be on 9/11, buildings 1, 2, and 7, like Pearl Harbor on December 7th. Like how, again, this fire in Maui was 127 days after The Rock announced the new Moana live action. 127 days. Again, ground zero is 127. Terminology for 9/11 where buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell in the new Pearl Harbor to go with December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day again. Polynesia is 127. Maui is a Polynesian fire god also connected to earthquakes. Like how The Rock was in San Andreas, which will turn 9 years old next year, just like how came out in a 9 ritual at The Rock once upon a time. And that's focused on California, and there is a movie about The Rock, the little island in the Bay Area, right? The Rock, big 90s popular movie. Again, this Jay-Z piece, the song came out on The Rock's birthday. Oh, I forgot to mention, it came out while The Rock was 17. Came out on May 2nd, 89, while The Rock was 17 years old. Isn't that wild? Jay-Z. And then when I was in New York last year, I said, oh, one of the train lines is J to Z. And so he said, yeah, it was Shark. Shout out to Shark if he's out there. Shark said, yeah, that's why he's Jay-Z, because this is the train line he wrote. I said, oh, it makes a lot of sense. Okay. But was it still his idea? Again, federal shenanigans, entertainment, history. Jay-Z born the day Fred Hampton's assassinated. They've done so many rituals with Fred Hampton over the years as we've documented. But Fred Hampton killed on his 97th day of his age. As we know, death is 97. Number that has a lot to do with Eazy-E's death, born on that day, and Tupac shot on that day, 9/7. Again, Tupac dies on the anniversary of Biggie's Ready to Die. Biggie dies in 97, where Notorious is 97, like death. Rockefeller Records, Jay-Z, Puff Daddy take over in a 97 ritual. But yeah, think about it. Just think about how Hurricane's 97, the boxer named the Hurricane also had the last name Carter, Reuben Carter. They made a movie about his story. The boxer, Reuben Carter, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan did the big benefit concert for Reuben Carter, wrongfully imprisoned. Yeah, it's just, isn't it too perfect, you guys? For Fred Hampton to be murdered by the feds on his 97th day of his age, the day Jay-Z's born, who'd go on to have all these big 97 rituals. And now it looks like it might be, what's his quote, Jay-Z? He said, he told Big he'd be Mo Top before he dies. I think that's how he phrases it, meaning he'd be on the top before he dies. And right now it's like, the way mainstream is, they carry him like he's the top of hip-hop. He's made so much money, he's got all the big hits, but I don't know. I don't think for a lot of us who are older, who grew up before Jay-Z, I don't think we see it that way. Jay-Z got way famous after all these other East Coast guys. And as far as I'm concerned, man, yeah, I don't want to argue about it. It's just, I definitely don't think he's at the top. I'll just put it that way. But he's forced to be up at the top. He's doing the commercials with Budweiser as the king. And remember, Anheuser-Busch is 144 like Jesuit order. Like August 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year. It was probably a decade ago now, maybe even 15 years ago now, when they were doing those. It was probably around the time of Katrina, actually, when he was just signing Kanye, that they were doing those Anheuser-Busch, Jay-Z, the King commercials where he's wearing the crown. Yeah, it might have been that long ago now. I'm trying to remember exactly where I was. I want to say it was around 2006. I noticed that Reuben Carter was born on May 6th. Isn't that interesting? 5-6. We know how big that one is. Obama, the first black president in the 56th election. Black Lives Matter, 56. Huge number with the Jesuits, their rituals. Why Black Lives Matter was painted in D.C., Washington, D.C., 56. On the 5th day of the 6th month. Painted on Church Street. And also something we just talked about with Jay-Z and Puff Daddy, who kind of came up in a big way together at the same time. Jay-Z more so after Biggie's death. But in terms of the benefit, because Puff Daddy's name was already out there, Jay-Z's really wasn't. But Jay-Z, again, he's turning 54. Remember what we just talked about with the death of Clarence Avant, the Black Godfather? He died 54 years after establishing Sussex Records in 69, the year Jay-Z was born, the year Fred Hampton was murdered, the year Diddy was born, 69. There's another one. Jesuit Order's 54, the Jesuit Order is 69. But anyway, Jay-Z and Diddy is what TMZ put in the article about the Black Godfather's death right up at the top, one of the top images. And again, he's dead 54 years after establishing Sussex Records, 54, like Jesuit Order. And again, Jay-Z and Diddy are both turning 54. Diddy turns 54 first, November 4th. Jay-Z a month later, December 4th. Both born on the 4th. And for the record, his first label was established in 67, 56 years before his death, going with that 56 thing. Rockefeller's another 56 for the record. You know, Rockefeller Records. Jacqueline Avant, his wife, is 56, and that's right, the Black Godfather Clarence Avant was born on the 56th day of the year. The Agatha Christie novel, The ABC Murders 56. They pay tribute to the number 56 on the Murder by Numbers movie poster. You add up all the numbers on the poster, they add up to 56. You don't think these are clues? Hurricanes, 56. All this coming together. Obama wins the 56th election. You know. But yeah, anyway, they're turning 54. Again, Jay-Z got Lil Wayne, who's also, his real last name's Carter, like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is Sean Carter, and Lil Wayne is, I think, Wayne Carter. Here. Lil Wayne birth name. Dwayne Michael Carter, Jr. Okay. And Jay-Z is Sean Carter. And again, Carter has that gematria 97, like Hurricane, like Rockefeller Records, like the one that ripped through Lil Wayne's neighborhood, New Orleans, Katrina, when Kanye was getting super famous. Lil Wayne had already gotten pretty famous, but I guess his most famous years were still a couple years ahead of him. But this is when Kanye's getting famous, and Jay-Z's starting to climb the charts. But yeah, New Orleans has that 54 like Jesuit Order. And their logo's the sun. And these are sun rituals. And all these men are the son of somebody. You know, the Catholic Church, the sun worshiping cult that turned into the Son of God worshiping cult. And gave us the language and the calendar that's all based on the sun. And all these rituals in time, year after year, as they pay tribute to symbolic numbers. One other thing to say just about 50, in addition to, again, if you're new here, America's 50, right? 50 states and 1,000,000 territories. The word circle is also 50, which again matters because in magic, and this Kabbalah thing where this letters and numbers thing comes from, it's related to ritual magic, but the circle's the first thing you make when you're performing ritual magic. And you see how circle's 112 in reverse, like mathematics is 112? And it's just day after day. You know, all these calculated rituals that seemingly keep people in a mass hypnosis, just thinking everything is a coincidence because they're so used to coincidence. As they get the wool pulled further over their eyes. But again, Washington's also 50, the capital of America. And you see how San Francisco's 50? St. Francis of Assisi, who's named after her, but the Church of Satan was established there. You see how San Francisco is also 122? It's on the 122nd Meridian West. It's also 202. We know what happened to Tony Bennett, who left his heart in San Francisco. He just died on the 202nd day of the year. If you ever drive to California, notice when you come in from the north or the south, either way, it tells you 76 miles to San Francisco. The 49ers were once 5-0 in Super Bowls. They hosted Super Bowl 50, but San Francisco also gave birth to the Church of Satan, and Satanic is 122 and 50. And selling your soul, you know, material wishes, fast cars and bitches. I know some rapper said that. Somebody said that. And that's what they're doing. You know, they wanted all that. They were young and thought they were going to live forever. So they want women and money and fame and success all the time. And you know what? To some of them, they're like, man, this might guarantee me a longer lifespan than I have anyway, and I'll live it up real good. So I'll do it. Jesus hasn't helped me out in my life, so maybe Satan can. I'm sure some people have said words just like that. And I'm not saying that's the right attitude at all. I don't subscribe exactly to Christianity, but I do think there's a real element of truth to the Bible, and there is wicked spiritual energy in this world, and there's positive, and more people are getting claimed by that wicked energy that the Jay-Z's of the world helped put out there. And maybe Kanye started with more of that good energy, but over time he's the N in Paris now. You know, he's all about materialism. He used to rap about how people were wasting their money on expensive Italian brands they can't even pronounce right to become the guy promoting the Italian brands. You know what I mean? That's who Kanye West is over the years. As he recently came out and said he sacrificed his mom. And of course, we covered that perfect ritual. They took down like all my Kanye videos. I kept getting suspended for talking about Kanye and oh my God. The First Amendment's out the window on big tech, which again is controlled all by the Jesuits, and you can prove that with this code. But I want to make the point about soul in satanic as well. Remember, soul is 67. Also like satanic, selling your soul. Bob Dylan talked about selling the soul for his fame. He said he never would have made it if he hadn't. He admitted that on CBS 60 Minutes with Ed Bradley, who's no longer here with us. Ed Bradley's gone. And Bob Dylan says biding his time. And remember, a lot of people like to make fun of me because maybe the worst prediction I ever had is that I thought Bob Dylan was going to go around the time of Super Bowl 52, but really it wasn't that bad of a prediction because right after I made that video, you had 3 people like die within a week connected to Bob Dylan and his legacy in music, and they were all in the mainstream headlines. So I was like, okay, Bob Dylan didn't die, but 3 people close to him did. Bob Dylan's from Minnesota, if you guys don't know. Minnesota's got that 52, like they hosted Super Bowl 52. But this kind of stuff does happen. When a big event comes to a city, entertainers connected to that city die. Just like we went down to New Orleans. When LSU won the championship in New Orleans, so many people connected to New Orleans died for that. And we went down there and educated about it. And again, that was the Billy Cannon, Joe Burrow Bowl, and Billy Cannon just happened to die the day that Joe Burrow signed with LSU, his team, on the day that Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, was shot with a cannonball, May 20th. And now Trump just got sentenced by Judge Cannon to another court date on May 20th, another Jesuit joke. Again, that's why I know we're not wrong. The things we've been talking about, they just keep proving themselves. And like I said, let's watch what they do for Bill Clinton's birthday. Again, Bill Clinton, who with NAFTA really wrecked, and it was bipartisan legislation from the Republicans and Democrats. They said that's what Bill could do. He could really work with the Republicans. And of course, he went to Yale like both the Bushes, who were in Skull and Bones, and he was the president between the 2 Bushes. And ultimately, everything he did seemed to funnel right into... Anyway, Bill Clinton wrecked Mexico with NAFTA. He was the president, so you can put it on him. Now, seriously, Hillary Clinton, his wife, Hurricane Hillary, is going to be making landfall on Mexico on his birthday and supposed to bring, severe rains and flooding and wind. And then it's supposed to park in Southern California on Hawaii's birthday. I mean, come on. On the 52 date numerology. Or no. Am I doing my math wrong? No, that's right. Yeah. Hawaii has the 52 date numerology. Or Hawaii's birthday this year, August 21st, 23. 8 plus 21, 29 plus 23 more, 52. And 52 in weather warfare. Admitted to in 1952. In Gematria, California's 52 like hurricane, like president, like White House, like government, like authority, like the cabal, like Kabbalah, like Gematria. I forgot the word technology. Like Terminator. The movie we all got about technology overtaken. Terminator and technology, 52. Flood, Earth, Enlil, Devil, all 52. So California's supposed to be getting some flooding at that time. And I'm sure it's all just Mother Nature. I'm sure it's just another big coincidence. Hurricane Hillary, the aftermath, just in time for Bill's big birthday. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. And I'm just a crazy kook conspiracy theorist grasping at straws as I keep saying the same things are going on for a decade straight and proving my point. And again, if you guys don't know about this 52 pattern, I'm pretty sure the year was 2020, but we circled all the 52 dates before hurricane season began. And literally on all but one date, a hurricane made landfall. And the one day it didn't make landfall, a hurricane formed in the ocean and was the news. And I've never seen, again, we always look at the 52 dates, but it was just that one year, it was every day. And it seems like in the last couple of years, there's been less hurricanes and a lot more fires. By the way, we had a big fire start out here on August 15th, and it's been all smoke out here since then. So I'm sure that was just a coincidence out in my neck of the woods in Washington State, the state that's home to 2 of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities. We just happen to have some big fires start out here on August 15th. Got real smoky starting that evening and then was real bad by the morning of the 16th. Thank you very much. The 228th day of the year, where United States of America is 228, like death in Sumerian gematria. And again, you got that song out there, Gematria, the killing name, where it says America is a killing name. But yeah, I think I got through all the main points. Go back and watch this Hawaiian Sophie video. Again, he mentions his partner, Jay-Z, and then we see him get yanked up right at 50 seconds. You really think it's all an accident? The 50th state, the 50th birthday of hip-hop, the 808 drum machine. Oh, I didn't even make the point. The 808 drum machine, it's from Japan. It's from Japan, not far from Hawaii, right? The Roosevelts, Teddy and Delano. But Roland in Gematria equals 64. Look at this. Roland, 64. Maui, 64, right? Hawaii turned 64 years old as a state, and this happened 13 days before the 64th birthday in the land of the 13 stripes. And Roland and Maui, both 64. And then look at Osaka, where it was made. Osaka is where the Roland 808 was made. Osaka, 88. Osaka, Japan, 64. 8 times 8, 64. These simple ciphers. Osaka, Japan, 89, the day it took over the news. Fire brings chaos to Maui. The founder of the Jesuit, again, August 9th, leaves 144 days left in the year. Go forth and set the world on fire, 144. Jesuit order, 144. Pearl Harbor Day, 144. You know, the Jesuits, a military order running this nation, its history by a code on the calendar that they created. In a nation where the capital is all Roman architecture, when the Jesuits served the Roman Catholic Church, dressing all these rappers up like Jesus, doing all these Jesus rituals, wearing the Jesus piece, all these biblical narratives. People don't want to wake up. Look at the 52-minute album, you guys. The word heart is 52. It has the same letters as Earth. You know, and now factor in with weather warfare. Hold on. Let me do one more thing. Let me go find that. Let me find, because I can't remember off the top of my head how they did it exactly. Kanye, Donda, he put out the album in tribute to his mom shortly before she was murdered by the code. And, okay, there's a few things that are interesting. This is the one I want. So again, Kanye puts out this album right before a hurricane hits Louisiana on the anniversary of Katrina. And it was a Category 4. And again, flood has that gematria of 83 like New Orleans, Louisiana. Oh, snap. Hold up. May 2nd, 1989. That's when that Hawaiian Sophie video came out. And Jay-Z's last birthday was in 88 that year. December 4th, 88. Yeah. So it was 149 days after Jay-Z's birthday, which is interesting. But that means it was his 150th day of his age. Again, Genesis 8:3, where the biblical flood recedes after 150 days. And again, Illuminati's 150. Like the sun's 150 million kilometers away on average. An order of Illuminati is 93, like how the sun's 93 million miles away on average. I think that's why we got both these measuring systems, so they can just make all their rituals fit so perfect with the language. But okay. All right, so we're making this point about how floods 83 like New Orleans, Louisiana, which is built below sea level and ripe for flooding, and why it got it, part of the reason it got it so bad in Katrina. And then Kanye had just put out his album for his mother. You know, when the mother gives birth, the water breaks, water, flooding. Mother's got that gematria of 83 and 29. He put it out for his mom on the 29th of August. And he put it out on the 83rd day of his age, Kanye. And remember, we're talking about how this flood in Maui is synced with this recent fire as well. And there's more to all that too. I don't want to review everything I've talked about in recent days. But all of this stuff is following a very specific code. And again, there's a clear parallel here through water and flooding and mothers and murder. And he said his mom got murdered, right? And the song Murder by Numbers by The Police came out in 83. And we always got The Police covering up for what really happened. Another young dead entertainer found in their home, a hotel. Nothing suspicious. Oh, it was another fentanyl overdose. Oh, really? Seems like stories for a nation coping. Like, is that a way to cope? That the nation's purposefully flooded. If you guys don't know, in 1968, like when every agenda went into motion that matters in this nation, including coronavirus and 9/11 and fentanyl, it was all in 68. But, I mean, is it a way to offer coping? People are dying all over from fentanyl overdoses in America. It's a big killer. And is it comforting maybe for an adult who grew up with one of these entertainers? Is it comforting for them to see that Prince died from fentanyl? Does it somehow give them some peace? Well, at least it wasn't just my child. You know, he's part of a bigger problem. We're going to fix this, humanity. You know, people are always looking for a reason to be positive and not feel as bad because we want to be feeling good. But again, just in the time everybody's dying from fentanyl, which was, again, approved by the feds in 68, that infamous year, the year the Club of Rome was established. Oh, yeah, by the way, the Club of Rome was established by the Rockefellers in 68. You know, the same ones who put the World Trade Center in motion, and the World Trade Center in motion, or project in motion. Same ones who are invested in the private industry of prisons that hip-hop music helps fill up through cultural programming. You know, again, the 80s, the crack cocaine sentencing laws at the same time as gangster rap to make a culture of, you know, gangbanging and selling drugs and who can live the longest and make the most and have the nicest car and all this, jewelry, whatever. The album came out on a Sunday. He put an album out on a Sunday for his mom. You know, how many albums come out on a Sunday? It was a Sunday with 78 date numerology as Hurricane Ida had just gone through Louisiana on the anniversary. Literally on the anniversary of Katrina, which made Kanye famous for saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. George Bush, from this big secret society, Skull and Bones, related to the Knights Templar and the Templar cross in the middle of the Jesuit logo. And again, the Jesuits are from Paris. Kanye and Jay-Z. There's another piece. There's another piece here just through numbers and water and women and International Women's Day. 241 is the 53rd prime. Jay-Z's 53 right now. I haven't heard any news about Jay-Z and Beyonce expecting any new babies by the numbers. But from Donda's birthday, her birthday is 12/7/127. It's interesting. She's from Oklahoma City, where the Jesuits did the big ritual on Ignatius Loyola Day, blowing up the federal building. Blamed it on CIA agent Timothy McVeigh. Supposedly a fertilizer bomb quaked an area with a circle where out from the middle is 10 miles in each direction. Think about how much land that is to all shake. A homemade fertilizer bomb did that? Okay. That's one of those federal stories. Just like how the power line did Maui, you guys. It was just one down power line just did that city like that. Because the old winds from the hurricane, so they say. Again, there was a hurricane outside New York City the day of 9/11 that never made landfall. But Kanye West and Donda West, 48, came out 48 days after her birthday. Of course, Illuminati's got that 48/120, also like Kanye West. Also like the 150 we just talked about. It was released 73 days before her death anniversary. Sacrifice number. Biggie died 73 days before his birthday, or you could say a span of 74 days, like Rapper and Killing. sacrificed 73, rapper and killing 74. From her last birthday anniversary to her death was 121 days. Numbers we talk about a lot. Big blood sacrifice number. So they got it both ways. People will criticize that. They'll say, well, you're doing 73 and 121. I'm saying, yeah, I'm doing that, and I'm showing it left and right over and over, and oftentimes in the same ritual. You know, like right here. I don't know why people think that's some argument that all this has to be a coincidence because we did sacrifice and blood sacrifice, and it lined up perfectly with everything else. But yeah, again, weather warfare admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday in 1952. And I don't think it started then. I think that's when they first admitted to it. They've been working at it for a while. The idea of weather warfare goes back to the time of, I think even before the World Wars, this concept of manipulating weather to destroy your enemy. And again, why would the American military destroy a territory acquired for U.S. military purposes? Who knows how long their plan is? They might have a 1,000-year plan. You know, this destruction today gives us this advantage tomorrow. Or it might be because America's not controlled by anybody who cares about America. America might be controlled by the New World Order like Jay-Z rapped about on Puff Daddy's album back in 97. You know, Young G's perspective, modern Freemasonry, a Jesuit creation. G's, the Freemason logo. G, God, the belief that God made the world through letters, numbers, and words. Gematria, G, geometry, gematria, geometry and language, everything mathematical rituals. In tribute to numbers that largely do come from natural places. I mean, that's why I can't explain everything in every video or I'll be here all day, but that's why I've written the books. Take the time to read the books. You'll get the greater grasp. You know, in daily streams, I'm not giving you all the backstory on everything, but I'm showing you what the ritual is. These numbers are symbolic. You know, this thing's like, these people think they're going to infinity. They're always going to be playing better chess. What is an 8 on its sides? That's why we got to surprise them, you know. This is not going to go on for eternity. Yet with regards to all the 8s, right? This album, right? What year did it come out? 08. Talking about the 62 significant. What is 62 in numerology? It's 8. Remember what they did with Tory Lanez on 8-8. His name, Daystar, equals 88. His full name, Daystar Peterson, equals 88. The Daystar, the sun, makes a figure 8 in the sky. He was arrested 88 days from the shooting. We covered that back then sentenced on 8-8 to all these years in prison. And again, in 2 Peters is where the mention of Daystar is in the Bible. Peters, like Peterson, like Daystar Peterson, Tory Lanez. A new world order. Japan. The U.S., rituals together between governments that dupe the people, that get them to fight in wars, that make money for people up at the top and put them further in power. Entertainers, to keep us not thinking about things that really we should be thinking about. Have us thinking about other things that maybe aren't so good for us. Doesn't entertainment do that in a lot of ways? Has you wanting things that maybe you really don't need, that maybe really aren't good for you? They might be pleasurable, but they might ultimately not be good for you. They might cause some real problems. Being seduced by people who serve something that wants to control us, our minds, control everything. You know, they decide it's Blowtorch Wednesday. They don't give a shit if it's going to, wipe out X amount of babies. It's Blowtorch Day. And America should have got that a long time ago on August 6, 1945. Man, speaking of which, again, this thing with hip-hop and Hawaii and the Roland 808, from Japan, and again, this happening between the anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Again, that wasn't 45, right? We know ritual's 45, but the hip-hop connection. Where's the hip-hop connection with 45? Hip-hop is 45, right? Hip-hop is 45. These rappers are spitting fire. Maui got spit fire on. But you can feel better about it watching Moana, and The Rock. Okay. I really wish somehow, some way, like, if I heard that there was, like, the state of Georgia wanted me to come down to Atlanta because we're taking over CNN today to get this presentation on the news one way or another by overwhelming force and so many people, I would fly down to Atlanta as fast as possible to do that. Because that's what I want to happen, man. I want, when we go out places, I want to see things happen. I want to see more people there. We're turning heads when we go places, but we got to turn everybody's head. We need a big-ass crowd. People are coming out for one PlayStation 5. We need people to come out for their rights and liberties so that there's not another Maui. I think that's Diddy's child anyway, that social media guy who sets fireworks off in his house. Jesuits and their fireworks. But, yeah, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. I hope I presented this video well enough to get people to look more into these things. If you guys got here late, be sure to rewind the video. The beginning of the video is where it's really important. The 50th state, the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, the 808 connection, the guy who's said to be the king of hip-hop, connected to Kanye, who has the album produced, Heartbreak, 808, or 808s and Heartbreak in Hawaii. Jay-Z getting famous with Hawaiian Sophie and yanked up on a rope near his neck exactly at 50 seconds into the video. You know, E. Jean Carroll just wrote the book, Who Needs Men Anyway? You're about to see the Queen Babe Beyonce. She's probably going to come out lesy. Queen Beyonce is the new Bruce Jenner. She's Queen Brandon, King Brandon. Beyonce Knowles is now Brandon Knowles, the King of Soul. New tribute album to Aretha, 42 tracks long. If you know, I mean, that's where society's going, you guys. And, you know, even if Beyonce doesn't want to do that, if that ever came across her desk, that's what she'd have to be doing. Otherwise, you'd probably be reading about her in the bathtub on the anniversary of Whitney Houston on the 42nd day of the year. That's why we got to stop supporting these industries. Wake up, speak out, share the knowledge, get people to see what's going on. Because the stuff we're talking about, it just keeps repeating itself, which is the undeniable evidence that we're not tripping. Yeah, I hear what you're saying about it. It could already be that way. Yeah, it could. Beyonce has a song about, like, what if she was a boy? All right, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thanks to everyone who hits the like and share. Oh, hold on. Somebody wanted to phone in. Yeah, you got an addition? What's up, DK?
I just wanted to throw in a couple things. I don't know exactly where they would fit in. But remember last night we were talking about, I was saying how I got to look into more when the U.S. took over Hawaii. Well, the capital used to be Lahaina. And then when they took it over, they moved it to the other island in Honolulu. And then it just like how they moved from Philly to D.C., and then it just so happens that fake Jewish guy, the Governor Green, is from Pennsylvania as well. So
like Biden.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I don't know how that all fits in, but there goes another.
Well, I was gonna end this stream, but actually I got to look at that real quick. I got to look at the Hawaii takeover. Let's get those dates down, because I thought I heard him say something about January 6th as well, and you got Kanye running, and he's connected to Trump, and Trump's another 88 with the 88 fire, and now Hurricane Hillary. Yeah, I'll look at those dates. Appreciate that.
You know what else has been kind of bothering me, or not bothering me, but just the hurricane that supposedly caused all this is Dora, right?
Right.
And then you know the Dora the Explorer.
It's familiar, but I forget exactly what that is. I've heard that though.
Yeah, there may be a connection why they're doing that. I got to look at the dates for Dora the Explorer and all that stuff. There's got to be something, because they named these hurricanes. I forgot before they named these hurricanes. I think even Rambo went over some of the names of the hurricanes, how they totally connect.
Dora the Explorer looks like it ran on Nickelodeon from August 14th. So August 14th, that's in the time of this Maui thing. That's the eve of the Jesuit Order's birthday. And it went till June 5th, which is a fateful day in history, from Reagan to Bobby Kennedy. And it can be written 5-6, like Hurricane's 56. So yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's all. I just had a couple pieces to throw in, figure out
Hold up. And then it came back again from July 7th to August 9th of 2019. August 9th is the day that this took over the news in the mainland. We didn't really, I mean, am I not right about that? I was covering the news all day on August 8th, and Maui wasn't really a big story they were covering. But then August 9th, it was just all day.
They're 3 hours. Are they 3 hours or 5 hours? I can't remember. 3 hours, right, behind us?
I think they're 3 hours behind us.
Yeah, 3 hours behind us.
Or
so if it happened there,
let me check.
You know what I mean? We could be like slightly into the. Not well. Actually, that's not enough ahead to be in the next day. 3 hours, it's nothing. Yeah, was that at night there?
No, the fire started at just before 7 a.m. in Maui. So, I mean, based on that, 7 a.m. in Maui is 10 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 p.m. in the East. I mean, they could have easily been covering that.
Right, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, if it was like at night or something and then like say 8 or 9 p.m. and it's already like past midnight into our next day. But yeah, that's like right in the morning. That makes no sense.
Right. It seems like it should have been the big story. I think they did start to talk about it the night of August 8th, but it was just like a story aside all these other stories. And we're having all these wildfires, so I felt like, okay, it's another wildfire story. But then next thing you know, the next day, it's like, this is the worst wildfire in 100 years. It's like, okay, well, why weren't you guys, wait, did this happen yesterday morning and you didn't cover it all day?
Right, the story got ramped up, like now it's, every channel, the biggest thing, and keep going back to it where, yeah, before they just glanced over it.
Yeah, so.
Anyway.
Well, what do you think about Jay-Z going up on the rope at 50 seconds in the Hawaiian Sophie video?
I was just starting to look at that. What do you think it symbolizes?
Go back and watch the beginning of the video. So
I just got to that part where you were showing that he's going up, and then he comes back down. He goes up on the rope, and then he comes back down at 50 seconds.
He doesn't come back down. No, he comes down, and he's all the way down at 38 seconds, and then he gets yanked up by the rope at 50 seconds. Right on.
What do you think that's symbolizing in general?
Well, we're just talking about the 50th anniversary of hip-hop.
Oh, gotcha.
The word hung is also 50, so.
Huh. Okay. I wonder if that plays into that hangman card thing, too.
It probably does, yeah, because that goes with 9/11, doesn't it? And Jay-Z's Blueprint came out on September 11, 2001, and that's when he was getting famous. Yeah, that is the other half of it, the hangman card. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just starting to look at that, but then I was like, oh, he's probably going to end this stream. Let me fast forward all the way to the live, and then I'll have to go back and listen to the last, 20 minutes or whatever that I missed.
Okay. All right, appreciate it, DK.
All right, thanks. Take the call.
Here, we'll do that real quick. Yeah, you guys, if you don't know about the hangman card in tarot, they say the falling man on 9/11 that was captured in image looked just like the hangman card in the tarot. There's a big story about this. And for the record, tarot equals 74, like a cult, like gematria, like English, like energy, like the World Trade Center's on the 74th meridian. Trump got trumped in the election, the Trump card from tarot, when Biden was at 74 million votes. Trump also got a big gift in Israel in a 74 ritual. Anyway, let's go back actually and look at this Hawaii, what do we say? U.S. invasion of Hawaii timeline. Let's see. Okay. 1893. So 93 was the bad year. Remember, the Moana was announced on the 93rd day of the year, and we covered how important that was yesterday. Order of Illuminati is another big 93. The Committee of 13. Oh, wow. The Committee of 13, you guys. Just like how Hawaii burned up 13 days before its 64th birthday when Maui's 64. So was Kill. The Committee of 13 renames itself the Committee of Public Safety. They must have been like, they're starting to catch on to the numbers. And declares the throne vacant on January 15th. It's a fateful day in history, too. The U.S. overthrows the Hawaiian monarchy and Sanford Dole, is that of the banana company? A missionary descendant negotiates an annexation treaty with the Harrison administration. The treaty is not ratified before the Harrison administration is replaced by the Cleveland administration. And remember, Trump's trying to become the second split-term president since Grover Cleveland. There's 78 cards in the tarot deck. Trump's going to be 78 for the next election. Cleveland, 78. Yeah, again, his 2016 convention was in Cleveland. So Grover Cleveland's part of the Hawaii thing, and Trump's Mr. 88, and this happens on 8/8. Again, Now, Trump's connected to Hawaii, Obama, who he replaced, and now Hurricane Hillary on Bill Clinton's birthday, and all the parallels with the Clintons and Trump. Dude, these people who rule over us, I mean, you got to give it to them. They are good. But they're also exposed. The game should be up. In the information age, the game should be up. What I can't believe is that there's not all 300 million American adults watching this stream right now. I honestly can't believe that. Everybody should know what we're talking about. And if they all think, half of them think it's a coincidence, then we need to have a debate. If it's all a coincidence or if history is repeating itself by a code, by a cabal that's in control and runs the world by manipulating our minds and messing with us every day. President Cleveland delivers a message to Dole asking for his resignation and to restore the legitimate government of Hawaii to power. Dole refuses. So Trump has the parallels to Cleveland, and Cleveland was actually kind of the looks like the historical good guy in this story. That's interesting. Annexing Hawaii in America becomes a world power. And just to remind you, a year ago, you had the Mar-a-Lago raid on Trump on 8/8. When he was running for president, it was 8/8 where he finally came through with what everyone was waiting for, his tax plan, which happened to equal 88 like Trump. And remember, he came out to Queen, We Are the Champions in Cleveland, 88 days after the Queen's birthday. First, she died in her big Jesuit ritual on the Virgin Mary's birthday. All right, but here it says the backstory. In the 1800s, Americans established missions and built huge plantations. And how much do you want to bet those Americans were led by Jesuits? Built huge plantations. Hold on. Itachi's calling in. He might have a good observation here. What's up, Itachi?
Hey, man. Saw something I had to give you a call about. You know Pete Alonso, right?
Oh, yeah, the baseball player, right. Somebody called me about Pete
born...
Alonso yesterday and said they went to high school with him.
Yeah, that was a good call. But he's born December 7th. It's his 114th game, and he can get his 183rd home run.
Okay.
And,
is he still playing for New York? Who's he play for now?
For New York.
He's still on the Mets. Okay.
And he debuted exactly 229 weeks ago. What is that? That's I just looked up 229 weeks ago. Like it's the 229th day of the year, the 50th prime, going with the Hawaii 50 stuff. But yeah, it's just crazy. Pearl Harbor, it's his birthday, and his game being played this year. And he has
It's the year of the 119th World Series. They just had that huge ritual in the Braves with the Yankees 119th game with the Civil War symbolism where Civil War's 119. Yeah, good catch.
Yeah, and we know, I checked your notes how 119 can play today, so just had to bring that to you. What do you think? The Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great connection in light of what the big theme is in the news right now.
And the 229 part is crazy. Again, it's exactly 229 weeks after his debut, and that's the day. I think that's just, I had to call you about that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it fits in. It's got the Pearl Harbor connection.
Thanks.
All right, later, Tachi.
Yep.
Again, Tachi likes to decode the sports. If you guys aren't hip to the work, you start being amazed at how there's overlaps in the sports games. Now you can get ahead of the outcomes and the futures. Had another beautiful day in baseball yesterday. But, again, in the 1800s, it sounds like the Americans started to kind of settle in Hawaii, bring in railways and hotels. And the Queen of Hawaii, she opposed the U.S. influence, but surrenders her throne after a revolt by plantation owners, pressure from Ambassador John L. Stevens, and the arrival of an American battleship. Well, I want to get the date that happened. 1800s isn't specific enough. Let's look at what day she resigned. She was a queen. Jay-Z's with the Queen Bee. Let's see if we can find this. Oh, so, okay, actually the date upcoming is the date it happened, I see. Again, President Cleveland opposed annexation, but Hawaii was annexed in 1898, so 5 years later. So there was a delay. There was a delay before the full process. On January 16th, 1893, the independent kingdom of Hawaii is illegally overthrown. Supporting the efforts of the Committee of Safety is the U.S. Minister to Hawaii. January 16th. 16th century. Those pesky Jesuits, the 16th day of the year. Let's see. From the anniversary of that to the fire was 204 days. Now, there is something interesting about 204. We talked about where 201 fit in with the ritual. Again, huge number of the Jesuits in the history of weather control. And but the other piece of this is Jewish mysticism is 201 and 204. And I've seen this a number of times where the 204 is also there. And again, you have this new Jewish governor, just happened to happen on his 247th day of office while the country's 247. And yeah, I'm not sure that's an accident there, 204 days later. The word Jewish is 88, with the Jewish mysticism 204, again on 8-8. And it's the day leaving 145 days left in the year, and Catholics 145. And again, the Jewish Catholic Alliance that came out of the Protestant Reformations, the Jesuits, who've always been about world domination and control. Sodom and Gomorrah. Catholic. The Catholic Old Testament has 145 more chapters. The Old Testament's the Jewish section. It has 145 more chapters, 46 books. 46 is also a big part of this too. Just like how Kanye is 46 right now. Chicago, the 46th city. Remember when Chicago won their only Super Bowl, the Bears? With the revolutionary 4-6 defense, they won it 46-10, a total of 56 points. Next big thing out of Chicago is the 56th election in Obama. But okay, that's interesting. So it was 204 days after that. Interesting. The Dole government declares itself the Republic of Hawaii. July 4th, 1894, the provisional government declares itself the Republic of Hawaii. So this is still many years before it's a state. But they did that on July 4th, 1776. So that would have been the 118th birthday of the U.S. And you remember what they did this year on 11/8? That's the anniversary of the HARP patent date, where HARP's got the technology to do something like this. And again, that's part of the evolution of military weather technology too, and it's from the 90s, so just imagine how much more sophisticated it's got. But yeah, 118 number, and they're comparing this to Paradise. So Paradise, California, burned on November 8th, and they said it was the deadliest wildfire in U.S. history, in California history, on November 8th, 118. Paradise, California, 118. Notice how Los Angeles, California is 118. November 8th. And then they were gloating. You see how HARP is 44? You see how Lahaina, if I can spell it right, is 44? I spelled it wrong. How do you spell it again? I haven't been to Hawaii. I can't spell it. I'm missing my H. Lahaina. Okay, there it is. Lahaina. Got that 44. It all got that 46. Anyway. Lahaina, HARP, Maui, it's synced with Moana. These are all 44. Like military, like earthquake. Maui's also a god related to earthquakes. July 4th, that big earthquake in Southern California on the military base, the epicenter on China Lake, synced with the China virus arriving. But later that year. But okay, that's interesting that it was the 118th birthday of the U.S. that they set up the provisional government. That was the Dole government. So we got to connect. There's probably more to that. Number patterns, a cabal throughout history, a code, a ritual that needs to be stopped. William McKinley is elected president of the U.S. and is receptive to the annexation of Hawaii proposed by Dole. Through a joint resolution of Congress, Hawaii is annexed. Okay. That happened on July 7th that year. Now all these presidents are 77, born in 46, and we got Hurricane Hillary just in time for Bill's 77th birthday, the last one to turn it. 1898, there's some interesting dates there. August 12th, 1898, the Hawaiian flag is lowered and disrespectfully shredded. President of the Hawaiian Republic, Sanford Dole, present over the ceremony. Many remain loyal to the former queen, who questions the legality of the joint resolution. Well, August 12th, again, that's not far off from what just happened in Maui. So this is the U.S. So when they took over, they had to be disrespectful about the former flag. April 30th, 1900, President McKinley signs the Organic Act, making Hawaii a territory. Sanford Dole is appointed the first governor. The Organic Act requires all voters to be citizens over 21 years of age, reside in the territory at least 1 year before you can vote, and speak and read either English or Hawaiian. Once on the roll books, a voter's name stays there unless he fails to vote. Okay, so that was 123 years ago, like we're counting. I think the mysticism thing is very fitting. Maui's part of Polynesian mythology, and again, just spiritual beliefs, tributes, rituals, histories past, people not making the connections, getting the jokes. But yeah, good point on the timeline. And maybe yesterday I didn't hear January 6th, because unless there's more significant dates that just aren't there on that timeline. Maybe what I heard was January 16th, which isn't too far off. Yeah, I think that's it for now, True Seeker. If I remade this thumbnail, I'd have Fred Hampton's face on here. And, yeah. But that's all for now. We'll leave it there. Again, thanks to everyone who hits the like and the share. And, yeah, who knows what's coming next. I'll be back when I need to be back. But also, again, very happy about the way these little short books are coming. Short books. Extra short. Seems perfect for me right now, because you can get a lot down in 20 to 40 pages that's just super potent, and it doesn't take a long time to read, but should paint an undeniable picture for people who are new to this work. So see if we can make some pushes, because I feel like we got to push harder than ever right now. I've been saying that for a decade, but it's again, there's signs that things are bad. Blowtorch wins is a sign. The fact that the news is getting away with that term right now. It was just blowtorch wins. Stop with the conspiracy theories. It's like, these people can't be serious. These people are just speaking because they know how to control the mentals of all these programmed people. They know if they just throw that conspiracy theory out there and say blowtorch wins with confidence like it was always a thing, nobody will think twice. We're thinking twice over here, True Seeker. Shout out to all the thinkers. Till next time.